Hello everyone, so while I just do a quick cleansing of the cards, I may as well do my intro. So in this reading, we should have something for everyone. We're going to look at the energies around us in the world. Today is the Sag full moon. By the way, when we have full moon, sometimes we feel it's heavy, it's negative. This is actually a good full moon for everyone. It's high vibing. If you're sensitive to the moon, you might actually feel that you don't feel how you normally feel when there's a full moon. Let me know in the comments. So we're just going to look at overall energies. These energies are going to be actually interlinked collectively, but around like our governments, our frameworks, the stuff that kind of rule us in some kind of way, politics, that sort of energy surrounding us. And then I'm going to look into Ibrahim Rasisi, the president that they say, the helicopter was in fog, it crashed and he's unalived. Psychically, I tend to believe it was the Mossad. So this is the Israeli intelligence service. But a lot of people could be saying, but I also want to read if, so it's very fishy, this one. But before I go into it, then I also want to look into the International Criminal Courts, which I believe has come forward and stated that Hamas and Netanyahu have committed crime, and I want to see Netanyahu, because I'm psychically picking up on what I feel, so I want to see what the cards say. Obviously United Nations have done nothing, and then we will look at, and there's some countries that want to have voted, recognized that Palestine should be its own state. Obviously Palestine is only like 10% of what it originally was. Gaza is very small, and so there's already unspeakable loss of the Palestinian land and the Palestinians anyway, but that is coming to the heads. And then we'll look at sort of maybe Netanyahu, did he feel like he'd been promised something from the other leaders, so like the US and Russia, so these powerful leaders. I might not have time to look into it today, but I'm thinking to look into Julian Assange's energy at the moment. I think last week or a couple of days ago, he won the right to appeal in the higher court, not to go back to the US, where it looks like it's the unaliving penalty or something like that. So I think he's had his right to appeal now, but I'm worried about his current energy. I'm worried about him not getting through to the end of the final verdict. He's been 10 years. Well, let's go into it when I go into that part. And then I was going to read on something to do with more of a chitty chat that, there's stuff around tourists, there's stuff around certain countries really just making it. And it starts with even certain restaurants you go to where they want certain people there. So they might say, you need to spend this much to have this table or enter. It's all started that way. But I think countries are now actually imposing it to certain tourists to enter, and that can be understood because, some tourists go to certain countries for certain stuff and maybe make a terrible mess. But is there a larger agenda? Because all this is coming out after the big C has died down. And so I wanted to discuss that as well, but that's not probably going to be in this one, and probably just some random topics as well in the next one. So this one will focus on just a card pull of the general energies, and then Iranian president. he came out, didn't he? I think he bombed. Did he bomb Israel? I mentioned in my last predictions in a couple of videos, I said I'm surprised Iran is quiet. If Iran comes out, that is going to be huge because they won't back down. And Iran is the only country in the world that's had the balls to actually try to do something. And I am not condemning what was done, but no one else seems to have the balls to speak up in a way. Obviously, it's all to do with making sure there's alliance for the country you rule. And then all of a sudden this happens, what is it, a couple of days later? So there's a few scenarios. Could it be a impersonator, so then he's hidden for a period of time and kept safe? Was it actually him? You never know in these circumstances. So let's get on with the reading. Hopefully that smoke is going to be okay. Maybe I just need to move it here. And it's interesting, you know, the Mossad, when you think of the top countries that have the strongest intelligence, secret intelligence secret intelligence system kind of thing, you think of the US, which is the CIA. I put like a graphic that I've done. M16 UK, Mossad is the Israeli, and then you've got also FSB and MSS, I believe. So let's just tap in to see, because there's a lot going also in the US, and I think it's, unless I'm on the ground, it's a difficult one to actually tap into, because the people can feel and be more aware of what we obviously are aware of. So let's just get the current energy. And I'm being called to another tarot deck already. Where is it? Where is that energy? Where is that tarot deck? Oh. So let's just get the current energy around that sort of thing towards us, you know, so around the energies of all these political stuff around towards society, towards us. And look at the cards already spewing out. This is not a good energy, the Empress in reverse and the Page of Swords. This is the rulings that we're reading on. The Page of Swords, very much watching what we're doing, very much kind of like monitoring. And if you think of the apps, they do monitor, and so monitoring maybe what our trends are, what we're doing, and how we can actually a lot of online stuff, a lot of monitoring. And it's also an energy of not being in a trusting sort of heart-centered flowing pace with the universe. It's actually very much the opposite here, okay? Ten of Wands. It's a heavy burden and a heavy energy on us. The Wheel of Fortune, the King of Pentacles, the Sun. These are good cards, right? So I think what is happening, I've mentioned this before, is they tend to try to test us with what they put out there when they can. Look here, the communication, the movement, and then see what the response is. If the response is a heavy backlash, then we need to change the way we approach this, okay? Maybe from a more humble, on the ground, sort of centered way to approach this. Two cards. And one of the ways that they approach this is actually using interesting intelligence systems, using authorities and the government frameworks, which we're reading on, but when it comes to also politics and government here, is using that and then confusing us by different narratives, which then brings out sort of like the sun, which is success. Yeah, can they get away with certain things, or are we seeing how we're actually being chained and codependent on what is certain things that's happening? And this was going to be one of the things I discuss in terms of the tourism and that sort of stuff of certain countries, because I know a lot of psychics would have said we're going to probably end up moving to no borders. But at the moment, I think that is going in the opposite direction. And what is wrong with that is that these small towns and small businesses need the tourists. So it's like a twofold. You get your tourists, they make the mess, etc., but then they spend. I mean, think of like, I don't know how it is in the US, but shopping is so monotone, whether it's your clothes, whether it's your furniture, and half the time you need to go to a massive city to get something, and it's all sort of similar. A lot of it is now online. What is that? We probably don't buy a coffee or lunch or a bite to eat as we're out on the high street. Yes, we might get a train into another city or town to spend the day, but you're not going to do that all the time, because we seem to be reluctant at the hassle of stuff, which is another thing I wanted to go into with the travel. And so it's with this Seven of Swords, and then the Devil is right. How can we keep control? How can we keep the control? And the Seven of Swords is really about seeing, not getting away with it. We're not allowing them to get away with it. But sometimes, some of us are not all thinking the same way. A lot of the stuff that they're trying to get away with, we're seeing it clearly. And so it's kind of like, either you buy into it and you're actually giving the energy of lying to yourself, and you need to look at a need for a perspective and honesty of looking stuff at a different way. This is actually stealing truth from us to reach the Sun card, to reach their ultimatum. Look at this horse, how he's looking at who's riding on the back. It's kind of like, yeah, he's happy to be riding on the back. He doesn't know where we're going though. So that's the energy I get there overall around that. I just want to pull 2 cards from this deck, and I need to be aware of the time so that I don't keep recording and it goes over, and I can get it processed and ready to be out. So 2 cards, please, Spirit. Let's just put these back while I finish my question, for the energy around, the higher ups that rule and govern, certain rules that we have to follow and stuff like that. The governments, the officials. It's very hard when it's not Patreon to speak on certain words that might not be approved on, even though they don't mean anything. Show me, please, Spirit. Show me where the challenges are for us. Where are the challenges? And this might be where we're not seeing things clearly, like our growth area, as opposed to their energy towards us. One more, please, Spirit, if you have. I'm getting told to look at this one. 6, Epiphany, revealing your gifts. So this is really about seeing it, and seeing your ability, that actually you can see it from your own perspective, and your own perspective will be valid. You don't have to follow like sheep, It's amazing how I look at some of the cases that I read upon. And for example, Corey, when I looked for, I've done the last read, and after I thought, let me see what day of the trial we're up to, because I've not read on it. Nothing came up apart from the trial, so I don't think many people are speaking on it, or psychics. But as soon as it starts to get out, then it's a rolling commotion of everyone reading on it, etc. And you can pave your own way. It doesn't mean if someone says a certain thing that that is the right way. And so revealing your gifts and trusting a little bit of what your voice might have to say. Like going to the doctors and they might say, yeah, I believe you have dislocated your shoulder, and you're kind of like, yeah, it's painful, but I'm not really sure if it's to that extent, because I actually feel it on my, let's say, my rhomboid. So here comes the degree and the fitness side coming out, one of the degrees, sorry, but basically, but you don't listen because you think it's a doctor. Or the doctor says, no, you're all clear. And you're kind of like, no, something doesn't feel right. And then we've got here 14. Interesting. So we've got 5 and a 6. And so to get to the 6, there needs to be that change. And Laveria's is interesting. Look at how this woman is being sort of hugged and held. And it says, let love grow. Now, I don't think she looks like she's very happy in this, being held this way. And it seems like there was challenges prior. And so it's like, how can I trust this person? But yet I have to in some sort of way to move forward. And I find that really, really interesting. It's kind of like having a healthy expression of things as opposed to turning into an obsession over things, releasing your attachment to new concepts, releasing your attachment to maybe old thoughts, what's being put out there, and just evolving your mind, evolving your heart, and being from that upwards temperance energy that we saw, embracing tenderness, being together as humanity, you know. So that's what we have there. Now let's get to the Iranian president. I just want to make sure I've shuffled from the last read I did earlier. Okay. So Ibrahim Rasisi, I hope I'm saying that right. They report him unalive in a helicopter going down. I think they say 7 other people, and is it the foreign minister that was with him? There's something about Kazakhstan or Uzbekistan. Was he visiting there and on his way back? So is this truth? Because or are they trying to protect him after the bombing? So let's just have a look. Interesting cards. Look at this. This is really weird, isn't it? Well, someone's celebrating. There's big celebrations. I think Spirit, before Spirit confirms that he wants to tell me a story, right? Or she, or Spirit anyway. I believe some kind of timeline plan originally did not go according to the time plan. There was a loss in communication of something here. that made juggling this go in a bit different direction. There was disharmony basically. So this is probably where the plane is, disharmony and a fighting back. The Page of Wands obviously is interesting here. We've got the Page of Cups. This was, you know, the Page of Cups here is really kind of like a dreaming emotion, a dreamer, serendipity. But then we've got the Two of Pentacles, which and the Page of Wands, and this is really about then having that limiting beliefs and creating angst, and just a rebellious energy I get very much here. So interesting, Spirit really wants to highlight that. And I believe I need to continue doing this read for a bit more, but then also I've got other questions basically. So yeah, this is where we see things going wrong. Because I never said what happened, look. But Spirit wants me to go through a bit more of what happened before answering. Look at all these reversals coming in. Now I'm getting told to look at these. So there definitely was a plan of action that didn't go quite according to plan. And I think the plan of action was actually for the helicopter to set fire. And that didn't quite go according to plan. Okay, I'm getting told to pick the 14th card after this. So let's take this in the order they fell out, okay? We've got the Knight of Cups here. And it seems like there was an offering offering that was not taken, okay? It was walked away. And so then someone was recognizing their power. The Tower moment came in and the Nine of Cups. This is kind of like, I was going to say, I'm going to have the higher power here. You're not going to be the last one to be seen in this light. I just want to clarify the Fool card. Clarify the Fool card, please. And also, he had blocked intuition, which is interesting. The President. So I wonder if he had niggles that day. Clarify the Fool card, please, Spirit. I think it really does tie in with the Ace of Wands, but if nothing comes out, that means it does. Okay, so now we'll take the 14th card. I just listened to Spirit. Just realised 14 was the card we got here. I just forgot this. Judgment. Split the deck, Nine of Wands. Making a wrong judgment call. Making a wrong judgment call and then having to be on the defense of protecting your energy. Now let me just ask a quick question. Why am I getting told to check if it's recording? My own paranoia. Okay. reach that card, crap. Two of Cups, so a partnership deal was done. It was actually planned prior to him actually doing this. 10 of Wands in reverse and the King of Cups, the Ace of Swords. So the 10 of Wands, the High Priestess, something is still hidden and not known, which we know that, and then we've got the Sun card. Something is still veiled and not been brought to light. The 10 of Wands is interesting here. We've got the 10 of Wands is basically with the King of Cups, and then we've got the Knight of Pentacles. It's divided attention. It's just wanting to oppression, basically oppress someone, and doing what's needed to let go of someone. So, which is the secret. So for me, this would really be, yes, I do think it's the secret services, Mossad. You can see here the partnership deal, the rushing in of it once it was thought of. But I do think that prior they'd discussed this. I think they already thought maybe it could, I'm getting told, in Taurus season they'd thought about doing something like this. So did he actually do it in Taurus? Yes, we're in Taurus season. So we're just turned into Gemini. So it was done in Taurus season. Okay. But prior they'd already thought of this plan of basically needing to oppress him. Like also if he starts, you know, I think so before he even took that action. Remember, we had the High Priestess. We've got the Queen of Cups, and we've got the Temperance card, and we've got the communication. Do you know what? I feel like there was kind of like a female that might have helped part of the intelligence system to help tell them, no, hold on, go ahead now. And he was not aware of it. Because I know that some people think that, you know, it could have been done from also people within Iran, right? Because they were not happy with his... the way he was ruling the country, and maybe some oppression of women. But here there is, I feel like there was people that were ready to go ahead with this, but there was a female figure that was actually, he didn't realize that was behind the scenes, that was saying when to halt and when to go ahead on this. Split the deck, 4 of Cups and the Tower card, the 8 of Swords. So, you know, holding him in oppression was not sufficient in this. That was not sufficient for them in this. Oh, all my cards have fallen. Hold on. Okay. So the nearest of what we get here is continuing to get the Tower moment, but there is still a hidden secret upon him being alive or not. I know it's reported in the news that he's not. Spirit is not showing, but we've got Ten of Swords here, so I don't know if that's significant. Let's ask it again. Let's ask directly. I have been asking, but it's interesting, this partnership. So I wonder if also Russia knew about it, but I really do feel like this was the Mossad. As some might say, there might have been somebody from internal within Iran that was a trusted King of Cups to him that was bringing out communication. But I actually feel that there is somebody close to him that is going to bring a breakthrough in the communication, a breakthrough in sort of unveiling some of this. Well, it's one of those that I believe is going to be veiled quite a bit, like, or always veiled. You know, when, you know, it's just not, we know who it is, but it's not going to be out there. So, is Ibrahim Rasisi, show me if he's unalived. Show me if he's unalived, please, Spirit. Nine of Pentacles in reverse, the Hanged Man in reverse. This is a bit like held, you know. Is he Knight of Wands. This came first. The Eight of Cups, the Nine of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles. Split the deck, Five of Swords. This is really interesting. I think, you know, what I'm seeing is where I'm not allowed to actually get a full-on answer. But the Tower here for me is significance of that. But here, you know, is significance of his ending, basically. But we're not getting a direct thing. We're getting very much like held. And the communication that's out there at the moment is not the full communication. There's money involved, and again we've got this Queen of Cups that I said, you know, would have been from, that was in the background there, telling when Mossad should go ahead. It's interesting, Spirit has just brought, I could see that flame going out, but then I just didn't look, and Spirit has just brought that. He said, look at the candle wick, and it's gone out, and that isn't that when life goes away. So again, the cards are not showing it, but Spirit just reminded me, it just basically said, look at the candle, look how high that flame is now. Isn't it when the candle goes out, the life has gone? But the tarot cards don't want to show it. Major Arcana. There's the Ten of Swords. It was Israel. So I asked, was it Mossad? We got the ending, the conflict and the fighting. Sometimes you have to word your questions differently. Manipulation is around this, wanting to gain power. And so just to make sure that what I'm getting psychically is correct. So I asked, I wanted to see one of 10 of the major arcanas that are highlighted within the first 3 cards, that it was Mossad, and then we got that the death has come up basically due to the backlash, the fighting that happened. Emotional imbalancement here, being a dreamer of control. And then I asked, okay, so just let's make it very clear. Was this Israel at the forefront of this? And we finally got the Empress here. We also got the Magician. So there's double confirmation there. Okay. It was being worked on for quite some time. It wasn't something like, okay, we're going to jump in. It was worked on for quite some time, and I think they were on edge about it. There is a veil over what was happening, but they were working on it for quite some time, and they were actually holding on for quite some time to actually, for the right moment. Like I said in the first part, and I'm just being brought back to it, there was a timing, or, you know, something didn't go according to plan when they wanted to do it. So it looks like they wanted to do this and was on edge of it. They had already had it planned out. And this is sort of them riding in their higher power again. I've just seen the Tower and the Death card. Tower and Death. So I think Spirit is confirming there. Again, this is higher intelligence. Yes, so now I get a yes, it was Mossad with the Hierophant. But the reason Spirit is telling me, look at these cards and see why you're not getting the straight answer. It's very much clouded. It's very much covered up. It's a stolen show. Whatever was done to him is a stolen, sort of very foggy. Look at this. High Priestess, a veil, and then an additional veil there where you can't really tell. And that's why the cards have been confusing or not direct on certain. I mean, interpreted I've been able to, obviously, but it's stealing. It's things done behind the scenes and then portraying this cloudy, foggy image. And I finally get the Hierophant. The Empress was already out, that it was Mossad. And the High Priestess comes out again. I just need to ask this question the right way. So I do think there was someone who, I mentioned it earlier, we saw the King of Cups. I think there was someone who knew his whereabouts from Iran itself that probably didn't mind leaking that. But again, I just want to remind you, one of the ways Mossad was formed was it had 4 men who were of Arab descent, so prior, you know, we all find that there's different lineage, and he sent them to certain countries like Lebanon, Jordan, etc., because he knew that they could get information. And so you know, that kind of thing is coming back here. So I wonder if someone was also posing as an Iranian, had been within Iran for quite some time, who gave sort of information out because, well, there's people that are not happy with him. But I don't believe it was the Iranian people. Do you understand? I think it was just one sort of leaker who gave a little bit of information, knowing to make this successful. Yeah, look, making it successful, smug, with ego, justice, Five of Pentacles. So I'm going to leave that there. Okay. I mean, it was very fishy. I don't know if anyone else felt it was very fishy. What else did I actually say I would read upon? Oh, the criminal court. So let's just see his Netanyahu's energy. When he's getting away with so much from the United Nations, or any leader is in power, was he a bit surprised at the international courts, the ICC, saying that him and Hamas have criminal charges? I felt like he was, because, you know, it's not only recent, but Israel gets away with a lot because they're so powerful, similar to what Russia would. Now, the US came up and said that they don't recognize the ICC as charges as, what was the word they said? As an authority, whereas countries like Ireland and Spain, and I think there was one other one, that three top significant countries constantly vowing that Palestinians should have whatever's left of it to be a state. They're not even asking for the mainland of Palestine back, but for that little bit of land to be of a state. So Netanyahu's energy around the criminal courts, the international criminal court, saying about the criminal charges, I feel like he was shocked. Yeah, look at the Ten of Swords. He felt it ultimate betrayal, because he was holding on to his success of power in this world, and then it was an ultimate, he felt it was an ultimate betrayal. We've got the moon in fears and secrets and hidden, and I was going to pull a clarification on this card, the Queen of Pentacles, and Spirit says look at the bottom of the deck, where money's always a power of exchange here. And it's interesting, I'm also getting told by Spirit, also feminine energy seems to be a power of exchange to manipulate. That's very interesting. So I don't know who they have in governing as well. But there's fears, and there's a lot that is hidden. A lot that we don't see, but obviously we see a little bit. But he found it very much a betrayal. And so the international courts, criminal courts, are now probably facing challenges with sort of these big fronts. I'm also getting brought back to my reading on the president, and I did ask, was Russia involved, and it didn't show Russia was involved, but Russia obviously ally, being a big power country, but Spirit keeps bringing me back to seeing the Two of Cups, that they're always in alliances, two big power countries, and obviously we have the US. So that's his energy around that. You know, God in Spirit is the greatest of all time, and we have to recognize that. So Julian Assange is the person who's been in Belmarsh prison. Belmarsh prison is one of the highest security prisons. It's in London. I worked, not in that prison, but in criminal justice that handles those prisons. I didn't go there, but it's like every door, I went to other prisons, but every door, everything, it takes so much time to get into. And yet you've got other criminals. So he basically, he founded WikiLeaks in 2006. And so they published a series of leaks from the US Army intelligence. That's what he's accused of. And he's accused of a couple of other stuff as well. So I just don't think his health is in the best place right now. Let's see his energy. I'm probably going to do a separate read on him because I'm worried about being able to publish this. Julian Assange. His current energy, please, Spirit. His current energy. Six of Pentacles. Knight of Swords. Queen of Pentacles, Page of Wands. It's the Queen of Cups in sort of a slanted position, okay? Here I feel like he feels like he needs to beg for some sort of balancement. He's always just given breadcrumbs, and the breadcrumbs are just not really in balance. There is new communication, and we know he's had the right to appeal to the higher courts now. So he is hoping for that new communication to break through. The Knight of Swords in reverse is very interesting. Again, I feel like he feels like this has taken forever. I mean, he's already been 10 years in prison. And it's kind of like there's a lot of unfocused energy, and he's getting really, really impatient. It's very frustrating for him. And with the Queen of Cups here, he's feeling a lot of a Queen of Pentacles, and we've got the Queen of Cups here. I want to put it so that I can keep looking at it. So I have reached it. So it comes out like that. A lot of emotional instability, and I think this also means instability in terms of his hopes, okay, where he feels his hopes are not like firmly grounded. It's a page. So he holds on to every hope of a bit of communication of good news, but his health is really, really affected from his emotions that might sometimes waver. Four of Wands in the reverse, Nine of Pentacles in the reverse, and Six of Wands in reverse. Really not believing he's getting the justice. He doesn't feel like people are speaking out enough on it. There's sort of like not enough recognition around the whole thing that's happening. Again, instability, a feeling a lack of stability you can't see his home, but his stability overall. The Nine of Pentacles here is interesting. Again, challenges with his health has come out. Not again, but that's what I got psychically, and the Tower is confirming. Definitely imbalancement in his health. We are getting that. The Six of Wands. I wonder if he's getting the medical attention he needs. To me, this is saying he's not getting the medical attention he needs. Very disconnected at this moment in time, feeling the lack of harmony within himself, and just, I feel like he's a bit depleted. He doesn't feel, look, Two of Swords. It might not have been, it might have been upright given I had the deck in reverse. So challenges, fears, not able to face it, know there's difficult decisions that could lie ahead. Things are not clear for him. Yeah, but look, his energy, he's not doing well, and he's not getting the medical attention that he particularly needs. And this is what I was worried about. And I was saying about depletion. So I think he does need a bit of rest. Yeah, a bit of rest, a bit of looking after himself. I think I'll need to read on his energy separately, but exactly what I was saying, a lot of bitterness and cold energy. I don't mean that in the prison they're treating him wrong, but he probably is more unwell than he is seen to be. I don't know, did he appear for that? Does it just come out, or was it an appearance he had to make? The King of Swords here is also a very cold, shrewd energy. And he's needing a lot of love at this moment in time. He's not going to get out in prison, obviously, I know that, but he's needing some care and attention, and it's not coming through. There's, you know, sort of bitterness here. I think there's a lot of showing off intelligence, probably around the energies that could be around him as well. So whoever's against him, there's a lot of cold, irrational energy, manipulation and conceit. So this could also mean, as long as he gets back up, the end to this long chapter is coming in with a new breakthrough. But there is a challenge here. There is someone waiting with manipulation and irrational, cold, calculating energy, showing off their intelligence, saying they have stuff even when he appeals. So what I was getting in terms of his health is very much coming up in the cards. So take care, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.